I miss it. There's nothing more entertaining than getting a bunch of toddlers, pasta, paint, and a liter of glue and mixing them all together in a classroom to release their creativity. And what made it even better was that the materials...
My mom kept
usually
all of
food
that shit
products,
too.
Meaning, if you ever got hungry,
I had
you could
so much
just eat
talent.
some pasta or some glue. But arts and crafts is a bit different now as adults, as building materials aren't really edible.
Yeah, it is kind of sad.
Adult glue isn't quite the same either. It's also become quite gendered. The men don't play with pasta towers anymore, it's just not masculine enough. So instead, their arts and crafts involve danger and hitting things together with fire and hammers. So today, I'm going to do some
That's
of this.
my least favorite. Oh, he's wearing 2 gloves,
Also
you
enjoy
pussy.
A wide selection of glue.
Just let the scales hit your hand and burn them for 2 weeks like a real man. My fucking fingers still aren't fully
Now,
healed.
I'm not a very good blacksmith. I've only done it a couple of times and my products were pretty garbage. But regardless, I found it fun and want to do it again. And this
Thanks,
time,
give some
I want to
sandwich.
make something that looks impressive, that involves moving a lot of metal. Maybe a nice big double-headed axe. Do I need an axe? No. I've got a chainsaw for cutting trees. And I also don't need to chop firewood to keep warm, as my government is doing a great job of keeping the country nice and toasty by themselves. And now that I think about it, I'm not sure why double-headed axes exist. Yes, they look cool, but so does this axe pistol. Like, when
That
would
is
it
pretty
actually
cool.
be practical to have 2 heads? Like, unless you're a super talented lumberjack that's able to cut 2 trees at once with a beautiful front and back motion.
True, I
But
guess.
besides that, it just seems like extra weight to carry around, and a great way to axe yourself in the face.
Actually, I could totally see that working. If you're going for like horizontal strikes, you can maybe pinball it back and forth between 2 trees that are just the right distance apart. So you hit there and then on a backswing hit the other way. You just kind of get like a little windshield wiper motion going maybe. I could see it working. Like in the most ideal of circumstances, that would probably never actually happen, but there's definitely an argument to be made. When one side gets dull, you switch to the other. And what are you, like an axe scientist?
Yeah, I
My
kinda
idea
just
makes more
talked
sense.
myself out of building a 2-headed axe, but I still want an axe that I can shake out the car window at crappy drivers. Now, my plan was to get my granddad's old hammerheads, flatten them both down into axe shapes, and then weld them together, and then slap on a handle. But then
Make
I
use of
remembered
El
what he
Mago.
wrote in his will. And he might see this video, and I don't want to get in trouble. So, my backup plan is to go scavenge some stuff. Alright, now usually when I'm loot hunting, I find it best to go after or before a storm so it feels more dramatic. Then, find a big old building, abandoned
Oh, this is so
thing,
pretty.
or anything spooky and man-made. Now what I'm looking for is any scraps of metal left over from the building of this overpass. And what I really want to find is some eye-bar or flat bar. So usually when I'm exploring and the location gets spooky and dark, I find it helps if you walk in with confidence and loudly say something to scare away any stoners or bandits.
Hello? This is the police. I have
Oh,
a
good
gun,
tactic.
and I'm gonna start shooting.
Okay, now I'm mostly just finding plastic rubbish, wood, and rebar. But hang on, what's that over there? Near the wall, is that the piece of metal I placed there earlier for this video?
Oh my god.
Wow, what are the chances of finding that? So now I've got my piece of flat steel.
What a
I need to
wonderful
follow
rusted
this
piece of
origami
shit.
tutorial on making axes and just fold this metal bar over like a piece of paper until I get an axe. But first, I need to remove the rust. And the easiest and laziest way is to leave it marinating in vinegar overnight, and then give it a nice bath in the morning. Now a lot of you might look at the leftover rust water and think yuck, and throw it away, but you are wasting a miracle drink. My family usually decants the liquid into some jars, and then we add some to our morning coffee, and we've been doing this for generations, and all of us have lived
Imagine he
long,
actually did
happy
drink the
lives,
rust water just
free
for the
from
sake of the
iron
video.
deficiencies. Now the metal is nice and clean. I'm just going to trace my axe onto the flat metal and then just cut it out with scissors. The funniest part of that joke is that it actually took me hours and hours of grinding to cut out the axe.
God
And
damn
grinding
right
is
it did.
terrifying stuff, which is why I always wear the proper safety gear. Shoes, gloves, the whole lot.
None of which I used except for the shoes. Oh,
Yes,
Assless
I
chaps, my
reused
man.
the arseless chaps joke. But what do you want me to do? I ruined my best pair of Levi's for that original joke, and I plan on getting my money's worth. You're going to be seeing a lot more cheeks from me in the future. So now I'm going to bend the metal like this
Fuck yeah.
to form the axe head. And to help me do that, I'm going to weld an eye punch for the axe out of scrap
Thanks to
leather.
resub flog.
And you're probably
in the
scared
Prime
right now
Jack.
seeing me pick up this welder after the job I did on the spring shoes. But don't be. I've been practicing.
Chaps can
And I've
only
got
be
pretty good.
assless. I wish I
Some
bought
people
assless
would
chaps in
even go
Texas.
as far as calling me an artisan of welding.
And this piece is from a true artisan. His artworks look impossible, combining metal objects that contrast and complement each other so beautifully. Each weld has an aura of uncertainty. Will it hold, or will a light gust of wind cause it to fall apart? Some say that the fragile nature of his art is a representation.
You would rock them? I don't know, man. I'm not exactly cheeked up.
Excuse me,
I have Hank Hill ass.
another olive in my drink?
Sorry, sir, but we have a 12 olive limit per customer.
Oh, okay.
And next.
And this is my axe eye punch, not the worst weld. So in order to continue my axe origami, we need to head over to the big bad forge. Mostly bad. So I'm placing it in the forge so that only the center thinnest bit heats up. Alright, so the middle section is nice and hot, so I'm going to take it out and give it the old bend around. And this is
Thanks for the
actually
bits,
much easier
breadcrumb.
than I was expecting. I just kind of hit it a couple of times in the middle, and then on the top. And I have somehow managed to fold it over evenly, and now have something that slightly resembles an axe, which for me is impressive. And I should probably stop now and say I'm done, because it's definitely all downhill from here.
Thanks, resub
So the
Xander.
next bit is going to be sketchy, is I need to connect the two sides using a tricky technique I have never done and am not qualified to do. The forge weld. And whenever you see people successfully forge weld on YouTube, they don't have the appearance of real people. They all look like kind of blacksmithing dwarves that somehow snuck out of Tolkien's universe into ours in order
That's
to
such a
start
good
YouTube
point.
channel. And they're always surrounded by heavy machinery and covered in soot like they sleep on a hotbed of coals with a hammer under their pillow. And this is intimidating because I only do one of these things. But I also know that all they're actually doing is getting stuff hot and then hitting it together hard enough until it's squished and sticks. So I'm going to give it a go. So I've got my axe nice and hot in the forge, and I'm going to bring the two sides closer together and then pour this stuff, borax, in between, which is meant to stop oxidation. Oxidation is the main thing that could screw me up, as it prevents the two sides from touching and bonding. And I found it super interesting that without any oxidation at all, metals will just stick together. For example, in space, if you get two flat pieces of metal and touch them together, they will cold weld. So if this
Oh, that's
hot
fucking
welding
awesome.
doesn't work out, and Elon
Let's just
Musk
make
is watching,
blacksmiths
do
in
you wanna
space.
maybe help a guy out? And the metal should be hot enough, so I'm going to give it a good pounding.
Thanks, resub Oyster. Man, this guy's good at
I
blacksmithing.
love blacksmithing.
I've been
It's great.
clickbaited.
One little hot piece of scale gets into your shoe and it instantly melts through your skin.
My man!
So much fun. And my arms are also covered in
Oh,
fun
he
little
got lucky.
burns as well.
He got so lucky. This is nothing. You should have seen my finger. Fucking whining about this. God, this guy's such a pussy. If only you saw my little fingies. Bro, I told you, these scales are ruthless. Because they're so hot when they touch your skin, it like instantly grafts to it, and all you can do is just wait for it to cool down so you can finally flick it off. Shit is so painful.
Are also covered in fun little micro burns as well. And someone needs to invent something to prevent this, like some kind of arm sleeves that you can move down to the bottom of your arm whenever you're doing a dangerous task. Now I'm pretty certain I have a mean layer of oxidation in between the two layers, so I'm going to add more borax and then do what I always do with my problems in life, and just ignore it. And then, if it still persists, hit it some more with a hammer and just hope it disappears. And it looks stuck, but I can't tell if the two pieces have actually bonded and formed a solid piece of metal. I guess we'll find out when I cut it. For the next stage, I plan to resplit the edge of the axe and then slip the metal file in as the edge. And the reason I'm doing this is because I think the main piece of metal I use to make the axe out of has a low carbon content and will be quite soft and won't form a good sharp cutting edge. So by putting a high carbon file on the edge, I can get a nice, hard, sharp, resistant tip while also having a softer, more resistant metal for the body. The best of both worlds. Well, that's what this dwarf YouTuber told me anyway. So I'm going to add some more borax and do some more hitting. Now, even though the borax kind of looks like sherbet in bubbles in this really appetizing way, you must never eat it. Mostly because it can cause infertility. But if you don't want kids,
really?
Or, you already have them, then hey, free vasectomy. And this file is stuck in there pretty good, but the axe is looking a little mank compared to its former self. So I've got some options. Either I throw it away and buy an axe online.
Borax
or I
is
take it
ant
into
poison
the
as
garage
well?
and spend hours
That makes
cleaning
sense.
it up. And I could do with lengthening my videos, so I went with the later option. Okay, so I'd spent hours cleaning and grinding the axe until it emerged from its cocoon as a beautiful butterfly. And some parts of the axe look pretty, and others don't. This is kind of how I feel about it.
Ooh. The tang isn't pristine.
It looks like we've run into a problem.
Eek.
And when I say we, I actually mean me. You probably find my pain enjoyable. So it looks like the file has not properly welded into the rest of the metal, and there are some cracks here. And that's probably because of the incredible amount of oxidation I built up on the axe. But I reckon it's nothing an artisan of welding like me can't fix. Ignoring that,
Axes
though,
don't
the rest
have
of the forge
tangs?
welding seemed to work really well, and the two sides
Hey,
stuck together
shut
without a
up.
visible seam. I
You
hope
don't know what
those
you're talking
dwarf
about.
are proud. So now I need to decide what to do with the black scale that is covering the axe. And I'm modelling this after a Viking axe. So if you look at pictures of their axes, they are always covered in scale. Like, look at this one. It's completely covered in dirt. Those Vikings were pigs. And that's why I've chosen not to spend hours and hours scraping it all off. It's not because I'm lazy. I'm just being historically accurate. So now onto my favourite and scariest part of the build, the heat treat. If there are any problems with the axe, this will be when it fails. Hopefully dramatically on camera in slow motion. And halfway through heat treating the axe, it started to rain, so I smartly decided to cover my forge in a big piece of flammable wood. Okay, so just the carbon edge of the axe has reached a
Wow,
bright red temperature,
barefoot
so I'm gonna
blacksmithing
quickly
is
dunk it
very,
into some
very
warm
bold.
oil to harden the edge. And look at that. Can we just admire how bad I am at putting the axe in the container?
So one thing the blacksmith that taught us said to do is
And the axe survived,
spin it
and now has a
around.
hardened edge.
So when you
It
put
has
it
some
in, you
dodgy-looking
need to give it like
cracks,
some
which I'm
spins.
going to ignore and move on
Because
to
if
the
you
hand.
dunk it like that
This
in
is
and
a
out,
good
you
hand
basically
lines,
create like a little
which I,
pocket of air each time,
crafted
so it doesn't
earlier
actually get
while
fully
you were watching
quenched.
the rest of the video. And because I'm not happy with the axe head, I'm going to take the approach of every WOG family that owns a house in a crap area and overcompensate by blinging it out as a distraction. But first, I'm going to attach the head to the handle with a wedge to stop it flying away like my last axe. Now I'm going full Viking, and we'll do a leather wrap down the handle with some shiny nails. And to be authentic, I decided to get my leather straight from the source and went down to the supermarket and bought it from right next to the stake. And as I'm twisting the leather down the handle in a cross pattern, I'm using little nails to crucify it in place.
Thanks for the gift subs, Trash.
And now
Good to
for
see
the
you.
finishing
Hope you're doing
touch,
well.
which is something to catch your eye.
Wow, this looks really
but
good.
not like my last video. So I've decided to etch on my logo, and my options are to use acid or a Dremel tool. But after all that glue, I'm not sure I can handle any more substances. So I'm going to do it by hand with a Dremel tool.
Looks pretty
Now,
cool to me.
Just copy and paste it onto the other side, and we're dunskies. And I reckon it looks pretty good. Much nicer than the bent stick and bent screw I made earlier.
Damn, this came out so nice.
Now, I want to test it, and I originally planned to just chop some wood with the axe.
Let's
I was
go.
great at doing this, but it wasn't enough of a challenge. But then I remembered a video I saw earlier of the ultimate Chad, Gary, testing out his knife.
Hey, we watched this video a long time ago.
my opinion, this is the only way to test things. So, I built a
Is it
simple
prime smooth?
obstacle course to test the strength of my axe.
Come on, Gary.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Come on, Gary.
I didn't expect that little maneuver there.
Come on, Gary. Nice job.
Oh my god, it's nuts. Holy shit, it's sharp.
Come on, come on, come on, get it up. You can do it.
Let's go, Gary. This is my favorite part of the obstacle course.
Ah, are you a mindless consumer that loves buying
What an
crap
ad
on the
segue.
internet? Well, today's sponsor, honey, is perfect for you. You know, when honey was first found by mankind, it was only utilized as a sweetener to make dirt more edible. But now it does so much more than that. Honey is a free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo
He's a
codes
tier
on
1
the internet
Evo and
applies
a
them
tier
to your
1
cart.
Kestrel.
Here, let me show you how this works. All you do is you put honey on your computer like this, and then it's just there, always on your computer. And then whenever you do anything, like go to your favorite sites like eBay or AliExpress, when you get to the checkout, Honey scans for coupons and saves you money.
Watch the
Let's say you
Chainsaw
go
Man
to
anime
paper
trailer.
towels
What, did they
and
release a
ant
new
spray,
one?
And then bam, Honey saves you $45.
Can humans breathe liquid?
That feels so great.
Here's a gift sub again.
And you know,
Edgar,
over 17 million
Trash
people
and the
have
Prime
done
Cat.
exactly this and put honey on their computer and saved $2 billion in savings. So install it for free today with just 2 easy clicks at joinhoney.com/ididdathing. That's joinhoney.com/ididdathing. And their name's so nice, they made me say it twice. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that,
He did a
sure to
great
subscribe
job.
and check out some of my other stuff.
He's a good blacksmith. Thanks to the resub Lime. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Thanks for another gift sub, Trash.